Hello, Warbler parents. It's Miss Snider. I thought I would try to do a toilet learning information meeting through video. So here I am. You might recognize the mural. I'm in our classroom. It's a little bit quieter here to get some things done, but if we weren't in a COVID-19 situation, I was hoping that we could all be together sharing our favorite pizza place. That was our icebreaker when I did this last with a group of parents. But alas, here I am. And I just wanted to go through some tips for toilet learning, as it might be something that you're thinking of doing soon with your child, or there are some who are doing it now. That I actually talked to a family, and it was really encouraging to hear that they took this time to start the process of toilet learning, and it is a process. So I thought I would just go through some slides and give you some thoughts and ideas about how to best approach it. So this first slide, as you can see, is a very simple setup of a bathroom for toilet learning. So it is said that we put the children in their diapers. So we need to set up a place for them to be successful also for toilet learning. I'm not getting that out exactly right, but the diaper wasn't really a choice for them. We did that for them, and that this is a chance for them to start to take ownership of their bodies. And I was observing in this Knoxville Montessori classroom, and all the children were wearing underwear. That is a thing that they do in some Montessori schools, where everyone just starts in underwear in the toddler environment from day one. And the teacher told me, because I said, well, what about potty readiness? Like, how do you know they're ready? And she said to me, you can't even show signs of readiness when you're in a diaper, because the diaper prevents you from feeling wetness on your skin. It prevents you from knowing that you are uncomfortable with that, or that it even happened. So, I mean, that seems kind of extreme. You know that you've pooped probably, but that this whole idea that it's a certain amount of accidents that you need to get through before you reach the end of the process of learning about your body and going on the toilet, so that we could reframe this whole idea of accidents as really not an accident, but part of the process. And I think that it can be more frustrating for parents and more than it is for the child. So I think our role is really to facilitate that process and manage our own upset or own anxieties around the process. So I remember when I trained my daughter, that I remember in my mind I had this mental image of like 20 poopy underwear. And if I just could like get the 20 poopy underwear finished, then we'd be at the end of the process. So instead of seeing each opportunity to clean a pair of pants or a carpet as a failure, it's can be helpful to think of it as, all right, we're one step closer to getting to the end of this process. So that's just one way I think to frame it. So the picture is a very simple setup. So you want to have a place for them to go to the bathroom. You want to have that bucket is a place for them to put their dirty clothes, and there's some clean underwear in this picture. So the questions, and I see they have a mat there to catch any spills, but we all have our versions of this. And my question to you is there a place in your home where your child can use the bathroom if they want to? Is there a place for him or her to put on a fresh pair of underwear? Do they know where to throw dirty clothes? These are things you want to ask yourself. And in the beginning of toilet learning, a lot of families and in a lot of schools, we only allow them just to wear the underwear, those thick cloth underwear, because the ease of taking them off and on. And then the pants become an obstacle when they're first learning. And even in some homes, people will go totally underwear-less while they are doing this for the first few days. And so that can be advisable also. But it's a journey, it's a process. So it starts by preparing the environment for them to be successful by having non-restrictive clothing, having a place for them to go. And if your child is still wearing diapers, I would recommend changing the diapers in the bathroom because that's where we're going to be doing our toileting. So that's my first slide. All right, next. So this is the slide that is going to, if we were together, we would watch this video together. I will send you the link to this video, which I think I have done that already, but this is a Train Montessori 0 to 3 guide explaining the sensitive period for toilet learning. It's very well done. And really, they say the sensitive period for toilet learning is between 18 and 24 months, because when you get over 24 months, you are in the, they call it the crisis of independence, or the crisis of self. And so there's going to be opposition happening after 24 months. And so you want to, if possible, to have this toilet learning happen before they've learned to really pull the rope, against you. But most of us don't have that happen and don't have that as an option. So we just need to go into it knowing that they're in this phase of life where they learn the word no, and that they have some power and they like to say no when they can. So just being wise to that and being able to work around the developmentally appropriate phase of life that they're in, that can oftentimes be very frustrating for the adult. So some things that I recommended to the family that I talked to on the phone is that you don't want to ask your toddler a question where no can be an option. Like, do you want to go to the bathroom? No. Like, if they say no, we want to honor their no. So you need to ask the question in a different way where they can't say no. So instead of, do you want to go to the bathroom now? No, you say, do you want to walk in with me, or do you want to walk in by yourself? Do you want to wear the Peppa the Pig underwear today, or do you want to wear the Spider-Man underwear today? So you only want to be able to ask a question where the answer is no when you can honor that no. So that's just one of the things from the oppositional crisis that that the toddler seems to be in during this time. So if you'd like, you can rewatch this video. It's very good. Here's a quote. It says from Montessori, "It's true that we can't make a genius. We can only give to teach. We can only give to each child the chance to fulfill his potential possibilities." So you cannot make your child toilet learn. They're going to get to it when they get to it, and it's going to be a process. So we're just going to give them a chance, give them a choice, give them an opportunity, set the environment for them to succeed, and then observe what they do, encourage them, and remove the obstacles, like remove the pants, remove the lock on the door, and then provide the means, the low toilet. So, and oftentimes Montessori also said that the adult can sometimes be the biggest obstacle to children's development. So I think for us as the adults, it's good to reflect. How am I hindering this, and how am I helping? So that was just something to think through. All right, so by giving him what he needs, these are just some things you're going to want to have in your bathroom or in your environment. Small toilet, lots of underwear, loose clothing, place to put the dirty ones, and then the routine for the day. And this is key, that to avoid those battles, that you can say, the schedule is saying it's time to use the toilet. So you can get up in the morning, and as soon as we wake up, we use the toilet. That's what we do. After we eat dinner, we use the toilet. After we eat lunch, before we go. And that you can start your phrase with, it's time to go to the bathroom. We just got up. That's what we do in the morning. You could even make a visual routine chart if you are crafty, that this is what we're going to do, so that you let the schedule dictate, not you. And you go together. or not. And I will say, oftentimes we say, it's time to wash your hands, or it's time to use the toilet, and the child says, no. And then I'll give the two choices. Well, do you want to go with me, or do you want to walk in by yourself? Do you want to use the big potty, or do you want to use the little potty? And if they're still saying, no, 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 I say, it looks like you need my help. And then I will physically help the child. But this is where your, I call them the 3Ds of interruption, or to stop a work for a child. If they're being dangerous, if they're damaging materials, or if they're overly distraught. So I would say you want to give a firm push, but then if they're getting overly distraught, just let it go, because you don't want to get into a battle of the wills. So as soon as you start to see them get distraught about it, move on. And if they're meant to have an accident, then so be it. That's one less that you're going to have to get through. Just let it happen. So the routine is key. Here's some bathroom images that I was going to show you on how to set things up for your toddler. So always a stool to be able to wash your hands afterwards is key if you have that. And then this person used a little like toilet roll for their towel. I thought that was a good way to bring things down to the child's level. So some things you'll need. You need your training underwear. Oh, my face is blocking that. A step stool and a hand towel they can reach to wash hands. Here's another one. This person put some books next to the toilet, which I think can be good if you're sitting after meals. I think 30 minutes after mealtime is a great time to make it part of your schedule. After you've loaded the dishwasher, it's time for us to go to the bathroom. There's the clean underwear and the place to put the dirty underwear. This one was from our image. We talked about this one before. A place to sit to put on your underwear is important. So a stool, it doesn't have to be like this, but something where they can sit and see the holes for their legs to go in. Now I was going to talk a little bit about reward systems, and that in Montessori philosophy, it's recommended to not have rewards or punishments for that matter, because it adds a level of pressure that we don't want to put on the kids. This is just what we do. We just use the toilet. We don't want to praise them for something that they should be doing anyways. So it's not a celebration, because what happens when they don't? Like, you celebrate, but then what happens when they don't do it? You don't want to be celebrating, or they'll think that they need to do it to make you happy, which we want to avoid that. This is just how things go. So here's an example of what some people do. A skittle for a piddle, or a pop for a poo, which I mean, it does work. I think that I resorted to this with my older daughter because she didn't poop, and I was at the end of my wit's end. And I mean, I don't think it's not gonna ruin your child to do this, but I feel like overall, in the short run, it can work. But in the long run, it's better if you can just, they can feel good about themselves for doing it and not need that external stimulus. We want them to love learning for the sake of learning. We want them to be a member of our family, a member of the human race, an adult, and feel good about being independent and caring for their bodies. And then this can just start kind of a bad habit of expecting an external reward, and then being dependent upon it. Or what if you don't have the candy at the time you need it? Then will that be a tantrum? It just kind of is a prop that is unnecessary if you can start in the very beginning by not incorporating it. I know it's a temptation, so no judgment here, but it's I wouldn't be in my integrity if I didn't tell you to give it a try without. And I believe in you. This was a helpful phrase. This is just what we do. This is what we do as a family. I go to the bathroom, we go to the bathroom. And then the most important thing, I think, in toilet learning is for the adult to stay cool, calm, and collected, which leads me into my favorite podcaster and book author, Janet Lansbury. She has a podcast right here, Unruffled. She's got several podcasts and articles about toilet learning that I would recommend. Some of you may already know who she is because she is one of my favorites. So the thing is being consistent to the routine, consistent to the schedule. It's best to not go back to diapers full time if you've decided to move to underwear. And then in most Montessori schools, and what I've learned through my experience is that pull-ups are discouraged because we either want to say we're in underwear or we're in a diaper. And a pull-up is kind of a blend that can be confusing. So the thing about diapers is that they remove the urine, and pull-ups, they remove it so we don't feel it. It's more comfortable for us. But then with underwear, if you urinate or have poop in your underwear, you feel it on your skin. And so they recommend cloth diapers for the purists who want to start from the beginning so that the child begins to immediately have body awareness. Oh, I feel that. I peed, where a diaper takes that part away. So it can be confusing to say, well, pull these down and pee and pull them up like underwear, but you still don't feel the accident as much. So I would recommend one or the other, and to be consistent with whatever it is that you decide to do. So it's important for the child. This is another Montessori quote: bring the child to the consciousness of his own dignity and he will feel free. So Montessori always talks about respecting the child as the adult they will be one day. So when I'm talking to a toddler, I imagine that I'm talking to the 32-year-old that will one day be standing there. And so when we talk to them, when it comes to this very intimate part of their life, we definitely want to use correct terminology for the body parts. We want to avoid saying things like, oh, you're so stinky, or that's gross, or instead of saying things like, you could say, everybody poops. Your body's working really hard. We got to get that off your skin. And sometimes I imagine that when I'm doing toileting rituals or diaper changing rituals, that I am giving like a sponge bath to an elderly woman in a nursing home, because just like our children are young and vulnerable, like our elderly people are, we want to treat them with the same dignity and respect, because the soul is the same. There's not an age there. So just if I was going to give Miss Taylor, in the nursing home, a sponge bath, or if she had a dirty diaper, I wouldn't be saying, ew, you made a stinky. I mean, I would say, you're dirty. We got to change this. I'm going to move you over. I'm going to change this. I'm going to get this off your body. You would dictate to them what you're doing. You would treat them with dignity and respect. And so that's the kind of sentiment we want to bring into this process, without shame, with like, okay, you got a wet one. We're going to clean this up and we're going to get this taken care of. A parent, my first year of teaching, when his son pooped in his pants, he was like, I'm bad. No, I can't believe I did that. He was really struggling with thinking he was not doing a good job. And his dad felt so heartbroken. And I remember his dad telling me that he would just say to his son, it happens. It happens. Don't worry about it. It happens sometimes. And this little 2-year-old was in my classroom and he was just like, it happens. It happens. And it was so cute. But I just love that phrase. That's if your child has an accident, you know what? It happens. Let's go. It's wet. We're going to get you changed. So it's our attitude. Can be a little thing that makes a big difference. I loved this picture. We need to be confident in what our child can do. We need to be unruffled when the accidents happen, and we need to be perseverant and sticking with it, because it's a process and each child is going to take a different amount of time to get through with it. Here's another one. People will hear your words, but they feel your attitude. And it is so true with toddlers. They know. It doesn't matter. They can sense your energy. So as I learned in my attachment class I took, that we want to be bigger than our child, stronger than our child, firm and kind. Bigger, stronger, wiser, and kind. So we don't want to be bigger and mean. That would be scary. But we do want to be in charge and firm, but we want to be kind. So having that attitude as much as you can, even if you're trying to fake it till you make it, is helpful to your child. And then you can lose it in the shower or lose it somewhere else. But you got to like show up with the best possible attitude you can have, especially when it comes to toilet learning. Okay, I think that's the end of the show. I hope that this is helpful, and I will be sending you out a little handout about some of these things. And I hope you have a great day.